There are 3 methods to install Kali Linux. Now I'll tell you which method is best for your situation. Method 1 is VirtualBox. Now, why are we using VirtualBox instead of installing Kali directly on bare metal hardware? VirtualBox is a free software that gives you an isolated environment. Even if you accidentally break the OS while learning, your main computer stays completely safe. Another advantage is convenience. You can run Kali alongside your web browser, Spotify, or Discord without restarting your computer. Before we start installing Kali Linux in VirtualBox, we need to enable hardware virtualization. Without this, your virtual machine will not boot. First, right-click on your taskbar and open Task Manager. Then go to the Performance tab and select CPU. At the bottom right side, check whether it says Virtualization Enabled. If it is enabled, you are ready and can skip to the next part. If it shows disabled, don't panic. You just need to turn it on from the BIOS. To enable it, restart your computer and press your BIOS key while booting. Depending on your computer, the key may be F2, F9, F10 or delete. For Intel CPUs, look for an option called Intel Virtualization Technology or VTX and enable it. For AMD CPUs, look for SVM mode or AMDV inside the advanced or configuration settings and enable it. After that, save the changes and exit the BIOS. Now your computer is ready. Next, let's download the latest Kali Linux image and the VirtualBox installer. Open your web browser and go to the links given in the description to download VirtualBox. Download the VirtualBox installer for Windows. You will also need the extension pack because it unlocks features like high-speed USB support, NVMe compatibility, and disk encryption. After both files are downloaded to your computer, run the VirtualBox installer. Now follow the on-screen instructions to install VirtualBox on your computer. After the installation is complete, double-click the extension pack file. VirtualBox will open and ask for confirmation. Click Install and accept the agreement. Now your virtualization environment is fully powered up and ready for Kali Linux. Next, go to kali.org, click on Download, and look for the pre-built virtual machine section. Download the VirtualBox image. After the download is complete, right-click the file and extract it. Once extracted, you will see 2 files, one virtual disk image file and one virtual machine definition file. Now open VirtualBox and click the Add button or Open option. Locate your Kali VirtualBox image and import it. After importing, you will see the settings and information on the right side. Remember that the default username and password are both Kali in lowercase. Now let's configure the virtual machine. Click on Settings and make sure you are in Expert mode. Under General Features, change Shared Clipboard and drag and drop to bidirectional. This allows you to seamlessly share files and links between your Windows system and the virtual machine. Next, select System and adjust the base memory. A minimum of 2 GB RAM is required. In my case, I have 24 GB of physical RAM, so I am increasing the virtual machine memory to 8 GB. Then go to the Processor tab. Since my system has 6 physical cores, I am assigning 3 CPU cores to the virtual machine. Also make sure that PENX is enabled. For display settings, set video memory to 128 MB. Avoid enabling 3D acceleration because in some cases it can crash the virtual machine. For network settings, you can choose NAT if you want to share your host internet connection with the virtual machine. If you want Kali Linux to have its own separate IP address on your network, select Bridged Adapter. This allows your Wi-Fi router to assign a separate IP address to Kali, making it behave like a separate computer on the network. Leave the remaining settings at their default values and click Start. Your virtual machine will now boot into Kali Linux. Remember, when you click inside the virtual machine, your mouse cursor gets captured by the guest operating system. To release it and return control to your host operating system, press the right control key on your keyboard. Once the login screen appears, enter Kali as both the username and password in lowercase, then click Login. You may notice that Kali Linux is not fitting properly in full screen mode. Now we are going to fix that. Open the terminal and type these two commands to fully upgrade the system. This will update Kali Linux to the latest version. After the update is complete, reboot the virtual machine. Once it restarts, the wallpaper may look slightly different, and you will notice that full screen mode now works perfectly. You can toggle full screen mode by pressing right Ctrl plus F on your keyboard. To make clipboard sharing and drag and drop functionality work completely, we need to install VirtualBox Guest Additions. Open the terminal and run this command to install the Guest Additions package. After that, reboot the virtual machine once again. Now let's test clipboard sharing. I'll copy a URL from Windows and paste it inside Kali Linux. And you can see that it works perfectly. Drag and drop functionality also works without any issues. Just drag any file from your host system into the virtual machine. Finally, let me show you how to create a shared folder on your Windows host system. Create a folder anywhere on your computer and give it any name you want. I'm naming mine Share. Then go to the Kali VM settings, open Shared Folders. Click the Add icon and select the folder path. Enable both auto mount and make permanent options. Now when you open the file manager inside Kali Linux, you will see your shared folder in the sidebar. You can drop files into that folder from Windows and instantly access them inside Kali Linux. and vice versa. That's it. You now have a fully functional and high-performance Kali Linux 2026 setup running safely inside VirtualBox. Shared folders, bidirectional clipboard, drag and drop, and full screen resolution are all working perfectly too. And if you faced any errors during the installation, drop a comment below. I'll try to answer your questions. Also, don't forget to check the description for more information. In method 2, I'm going to show you how to install Kali Linux using a powerful feature called Windows Subsystem for Linux, or WSL for short. WSL2 requires Windows 10 build 1862 or later, or Windows 11. This method is lightweight, fast, and perfect for penetration testing, ethical hacking, or simply exploring Kali Linux directly from your Windows environment. No reboots, no external tools, just a few commands and you are ready to go. Before we begin, make sure virtualization is enabled in your BIOS or UEFI settings. Here's how to check it. Right-click on the taskbar and open Task Manager. Go to the Performance tab and click on CPU. On the bottom right side, look for a line that says Virtualization. If it says Enabled, you are good to go. If it says Disabled, you'll need to restart your PC, enter the BIOS or UEFI settings, and enable virtualization manually. Next, let's enable the required Windows features for WSL. Open the Start menu and type Turn Windows features on or off. Open it, then scroll down and enable both Virtual Machine Platform and Windows Subsystem for Linux. Click OK. Then restart your computer. After restarting, we are ready to install WSL. Open the Start menu and search for Windows PowerShell. Open it. If you are using Windows 11, you can also open PowerShell directly from the desktop menu. First, let's install or update WSL to the latest version by typing the required command. This command automatically installs or updates WSL. Once that's finished, check your installed version using the version command. Now let's see the Linux distributions available online for WSL. Run the list command and you'll see distributions like Ubuntu, Debian, Fedora, Arch Linux, and Kali Linux. To install Kali Linux, run the Kali installation command. The installation process may take a few minutes, so be patient. Once the installation is complete, launch Kali Linux using the launch command. During the first launch, you'll be asked to create a username and password. I'll use Fixbyte as the username in this example. Then choose a strong password and confirm it. After that, your Kali Linux terminal will be fully ready to use. If you want to learn more about WSL, you can also check the official Microsoft documentation. Now let's check the installed Kali Linux version using the version command. This will display your Kali Linux release details, and you'll see that it's running the latest version. Close the terminal for now, then open the Start menu and search for Kali Linux. Click the Kali Linux icon to launch a new terminal session. Next, let's make Kali Linux the default WSL distribution. Run the default distribution command. From now on, you can launch Kali Linux just by typing WSL in the terminal. Before using Kali Linux, let's fully update the system. Run the update command, enter your password when prompted, and wait for the update process to finish. This may take a few minutes. Now let's see how to install tools in Kali Linux on WSL. For example, if you try running John the Ripper immediately, you'll notice it's not installed by default. That's because Kali Linux on WSL comes with a minimal installation. You only install the tools you actually need. To install any tool, use the install command followed by the tool name. For example, to install John the Ripper, type the install command with John and press Y when prompted to confirm. Once installed, John the Ripper is ready to use. Now let's install another tool, the Chromium browser. Run the Chromium installation command and wait for it to finish. After installation, open the Start menu and search for Chromium. You'll see the browser available there. You can pin it to the taskbar or keep it in the Start menu for quick access. Now launch Chromium, and just like that, you've successfully installed and launched a Kali Linux tool directly inside Windows using WSL. Now let's move to the final step, installing the Graphical User Interface, or GUI, for Kali Linux. GUI works using the KX server. To install Kali KX, run the installation command in the terminal and enter your Kali Linux password when prompted. The installation process may take some time. Once the installation is complete, launch the KX server using the start command shown on the screen. You'll be asked to create a password for the KX session. Make sure it contains at least 8 characters, then confirm it. After that, enter your Kali Linux user password. That's it. The graphical interface for Kali Linux is now successfully installed and running on WSL. You can now use Kali Linux with a full GUI and access tools in a much more user-friendly way. Press F8 to open the control menu. From there, you can minimize the GUI window and easily switch between Windows and Kali Linux environments. To disconnect the KX server, press F8 again and select Disconnect. If you want to stop the KX server completely from the terminal, use the stop command. And with that, you've successfully completed a full Kali Linux GUI setup on Windows using WSL. Kali Linux is now fully installed on your Windows PC using WSL2, and you can start using powerful Linux tools directly inside Windows without dual booting or virtual machines. Kali Linux installation is now complete. Method 3 is dual boot, where Kali Linux is installed as a second operating system on your laptop. This gives the best performance, but for beginners it is a little risky because there is a chance of data loss. That's why I'm not explaining this method today. You now have the world's most powerful ethical hacking operating system ready on your laptop. But just installing the tools is not enough. You also need to know how to use them properly. That's why in our next video, I'll show you the top 20 Kali Linux commands. I'll explain every command with live demonstrations and show you how professionals actually use them in real-world scenarios. After that, you won't feel confused when looking at the terminal anymore. One important reminder, use this setup only on your own systems or on systems where you have written permission to perform testing. Testing without permission is a serious legal offense under the Information Technology Act, 2000. Always practice inside your own home lab environment. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so you don't miss the next one. This is Vinay. I'll see you in the next video.